Good evening, everybody. We are here for a town board meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. As we start all of our meetings, please rise for the pledge. Councilwoman Waski, would you mind leading?
Absolutely, thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Councilman Rothwell, do we have somebody for the invocation?
Yes, we are honored to be once again in the presence of Pastor Dave Cooke from the Calvary Baptist Church. Pastor, if you would be kind enough to lead us in our invocation, and thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Please pray with me. Father, we come before you this evening. We just thank you so much for this day that you have given us. We thank you so much for the institution of government, which you have instituted. And Lord, we know that government, the intent of government is to do justice, to serve the needs of the community. And so we do pray, Lord, that tonight as this meeting goes on, that is exactly what would happen, Lord. We pray that there would be unity here in this room. We thank you for all of those who are here that are a part of the community, who are looking to work together to make this a better place to live. We just pray, Lord, that again, you would be with us here tonight, that you would put your blessing on this meeting, that you would be glorified in it. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Under announcements, I'm going to pass it over to Councilwoman Waski for certificates of appreciation to volunteers of the Anti-Litter Committee.
Thank you. So I am the liaison to the Anti-Litter Committee, and they're one of my favorite committees to be a part of. They bring an energy to the town to get others involved and do great things within the town. And we've had several members that have done things that deserve some extra credit for bringing to the table. So at this time, I would ask if we could have Jeanne Fallot, Clayton Orehek, Lisa Gavales, which is also North Fork Environmental Council, and Deborah Wetzel. If you guys can come up and pass these out. So Deborah Wetzel, we'd like to thank you for being the chair of the Anti-Litter Committee since 2019. So you were an inspiration to so many people and held everybody together. So this certificate is for you.
Can I say a few words?
Absolutely.
I just want to thank the supervisor and the town board for this honor. It was my honor to serve as a chair for 5 years. And during that time, I feel that my committee and I accomplished a lot. We organized 2 townwide cleanups every year in the spring and the fall, and we usually had a really good turnout of 100 volunteers. And I think that our committee, in addition to helping clean up trash, we raised a lot of awareness among our residents, and that led to action where people that volunteered for us cleaned up their own neighborhoods. That was really great. I want to thank the committee members who worked tirelessly to make our town a better place. Jeanne, Jim Meineke, who's not here, and Joanne Rizzo, who's taken over the committee. Without them, I couldn't have done it. I wrote, thank you so much for all your help and your passion for this issue. I also want to thank Courtney Blazel. She created our eye-catching flyer for many years, and that flyer helped us sign up many volunteers.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank the council people who supported our committee. First, I worked with Jim Wooten. Then we worked with Catherine Kent, Bob Kern, and Joanne Waski. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to wish all the best to Joanne Rizzo, who's the new chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I gave you 2. Sorry. No. Where'd the other one go? I'm missing one. I just had it.
Well, you gave Jeanne hers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Take that back.
Okay, take it. So, Jeanne found the idea of the litter critters from a Gobi the fish sculpture through social media. Is that how you found that? And she brought the idea of having these litter critters brought into town, and there's been two of them so far. One is the fish down at Iron Pier, and the other is West Main Street, and it's the Big B, and the kids love it, family love them. They're well utilized, and thank you for bringing that idea to the Anti-Litter Committee. We would not have been able to have them had it not been for Clayton Orehek, who was the creator of the receptacles. And we really appreciate your imagination, your vision, everything that you did to accomplish that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This
This
is, if I could just say,
Absolutely.
this is absolutely a community event. Participation, the feedback, everybody's involved, even if they're just throwing a bottle or a can inside. It's very good to see kids at the beach, telling their parents, hey, put the bottle or the can in there. So, and then that's everybody here helps with that. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then we also had North Fork Environmental Council with Lisa Gavales step in and help with funding, and we have Taki Turchin as well. And you guys were really inspirational in helping with the vision and funding, and you were so great. You called me up, sent an email, and said, let's get this going, and we got it going, and we're extremely thankful for your contributions. So that's wonderful.
So much. I would just like to thank you, and by extension the board, and of course the Anti-Litter Committee. I don't know how many people know this, but we've been trying to get a couple of these on the North Fork. It has not been that easy, but because of all of you, as well as the Parks and Rec team with Ashley, we really made it happen quickly, and it's great, and it's beautiful, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Our new chair, and she's doing a great job. So this is the team. This is what does all the great
Squish, 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 I think is the answer.
Okay, everybody look this way.
Okay.
That's a great picture. Certificate down.
Oh, yeah, you get in front.
No,
that's okay, I'm good here.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Right over here.
Thank you. Unbelievable. I didn't make this happen. Really do.
Thank you.
Making other announcements.
I don't have any.
Yeah, can I make one when you get a chance?
All right, Councilman Rothwell, do you have an announcement?
Yeah, I just have one announcement. I want to just take a moment on behalf of the Veterans Advisory Committee to put out a very special thankful, of course, to volunteers in the Veterans Advisory Committee, but also to Rotary here in the town of Riverhead. This weekend, we had to take down over 150 veterans banners. That's the honor our veteran banners that go and decorate throughout Main Street and all the side streets. It's a big task putting them up and taking them down. So I am extremely fortunate to have the assistance of Rotary International this weekend that spent time out on Sunday on a very windy day taking down those banners. So, and we got them all down, and they've been cleaned and put away for the winter, and they'll be up again for Memorial Day. So I just want a special thank you to Rotary and, of course, the Veterans Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Any
just
reports?
add that thank you again to the Rotary. Being at Acadia, was there with the supervisor on Veterans Day, and they do a wonderful job handing out basically very nice goodie bags for the individuals at the facility there that are veterans. They put on a very nice performance. There was live music. It was a very nice day. Thank you very much to the Rotary for that.
I can also thank the Rotary because they are great with the anti-litter. Just to piggyback off of what we just celebrated, they always show up they're willing to help. They're such an asset to the town of Riverhead, and we are so fortunate to have them. So thank you to the Rotary.
Bob, you have any announcements? Okay.
Don't you want to
Bob,
thank the
just
Rotary?
tell them
Bob?
how much you love the pancakes. The Rotary pancake breakfast, tell them how much you love the pancakes.
That's great.
Okay, Clerk Wooten, do we have any correspondence and reports tonight?
We did. We received several letters, most requests for funding in reference to the community block grant. Those all have been listed in the agenda and forwarded to the community development for sorting. We received two letters from John McAuliff, one general comments and one about Town Square, and one from Cindy Clifford in reference to the 2026 budget. That's it for correspondence. They can be read on the agenda online in all of their glory. Under reports, we have the town clerk monthly report for October is $11,509. The receiver of taxes monthly utility report for October is $1,061,734.93. And the building department monthly report for October is $118,432. And that concludes our reports for this meeting.
Thank you, Clerk Wooten.
You.
Okay, that brings us up to the public hearing section. We have one public hearing scheduled for tonight. It's scheduled for 6:15. It is now 6:16. And the public hearing is dealing with rental dwelling units. And I believe we're going to have senior investigator, no?
Yep.
We're going to have Counselor Eric Howard?
Have me.
Okay. Go over that with us.
A little bit of an audible. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is an amendment to our Chapter 263, which regulates rental permits in the town of Riverhead. We currently have in place a prohibition on rentals that are 29 days or less, meaning that if you rent a house, a single-family residence in the town of Riverhead, it needs to be for 30 or more days. We have, for as many years as I've worked for the town, grappled with enforcement on this issue through people who operate transient rentals and post them on Airbnb, on VRBO, on HomeAway. And we get many, many complaints about transient rentals, and our code enforcement officers will typically go to these residences and conduct an investigation, and either there's no one there, or no one answers the door, or they do make contact with someone who, acknowledges that they're renting for maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, a long weekend. And so they will issue the summons to the property owner, and when that's returnable in court, what we have run into is evidentiary problems, because you can't just rely on the person who is maybe from North Carolina or Florida or Texas saying that they rented it for 2 weeks. That admission can't be used. It's not admissible in court without that person being available to testify. So what we've done here is we have put in an amendment that seeks to sort of close that evidentiary gap and give our code enforcement officers a few more tools to enforce what we have long had on the books in terms of prohibiting transient rentals. So what this will do is it will create rebuttable presumptions, and those are going to be listed. Those are going to be listed in Section 21 of Chapter 263. They include listing a property on a public rental platform with a stated minimum stay of fewer than 29 days. The rental listing, so for example, on Airbnb, it allows you to go in, choose your dates. If it's allowing you to choose dates that are less than 29 days, that would create a basis for the presumption. If the listing contains language like a 3-night minimum or weekend getaway, this would allow us to reference the publicly posted comments that review the Airbnbs. In the past, I've dealt with the case over on Overlook, where the users would just write beautiful reviews of the 2-day weekend that they had there. and post pictures and thank the host. And unfortunately, none of that is under our code currently is usable in court. So this would sort of bolster our case in a criminal prosecution and justice court. And again, it would be rebuttable by the owner if they are able to demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that they are not renting transiently. It would allow us to conduct investigations using the frequency of different vehicles going to the property, oftentimes with license plates that are out of state. Excessive trash being put out that's inconsistent with a single-family residence. And so that's sort of a summary of the rebuttable presumption that we're creating here. It requires when you apply for a rental permit, if you're going to be issued a rental permit, that you sign an affidavit acknowledging that you're aware of the prohibition on transient rentals, and that you're aware of the consequences and that it can be revoked. And then we create a section where if you are determined to be renting transiently, the code enforcement officer can make a determination to revoke the rental permit immediately. And the permit holder would then have the opportunity to appeal that determination to our zoning board of appeals. And that takes care of sort of an administrative remedies requirement that we should have in the code. So we're putting that in, and we are increasing the penalties for offenses in a manner that is more consistent with what Southampton does. So if I can find that section quick. So the penalties will be increased to a fine not less than $3,000 nor more than $15,000 on a first offense, not less than $8,000 nor more than $30,000 on a second, and not less than $10,000 nor more than $30,000 on a third and subsequent violation. And really, what this does is, the way the code has been before, the penalties were low enough that if you get caught doing this and you either plead guilty to it or you agree to pay a fine or whatever, it sort of becomes a cost of doing business, because when you go on Airbnb, you see that these places are rented out for the weekend for $8,000 or $5,000, or that was the one on Overlook. That one was almost $8,000 a night, I think. The point is, this makes the penalties more than just a cost of doing business for the person who is repeatedly engaging in this conduct. And then we add in civil enforcement options where we can go to Supreme Court, and the penalties there would be $5,000 per day. And that's sort of the overview of the code. There's a lot of substance there. If anyone has any comments on it, now would be the time.
Just to clarify on this, we had some people call the office. This is not changing the number of days of a transient rental. It's still at 29 days. This is just giving the code enforcement tools to go out and affect a code violation, if you will, against the people that are violating this. So it's not changing the number of days. Now I'm going to open it up for comments from anybody. You have to come up to the microphone and state your name and where you're from.
I'm going to well, first of all, good evening, Supervisor Hubbard and board members. Thank you very much for having me here. I just want to kind of go over a little bit.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Your name, ma'am, and where you're from?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
We need your name, ma'am.
Name and where
Oh, I'm
you're
sorry. Eileen DiCasola. I'm from Wading River. Thank you. I'm just very happy to be here to speak of the proposed changes to the town, tightening up the rules relating to short-term rentals and improve language in the code to enhance enforcement efforts. Making the rules and policy for short-term rentals along with the penalties more available and clearer on the code enforcement page is a must. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, I just want to make sure with the town attorney that I have this information correct. I said going from the first violation of $250 to $1,000 and/or 15 days in jail, or the second within 5 years, no less than $1,000, no more than $5,000, and/or 15 days in jail to each violation. Two, now they're saying with the new, would be the first violation would be punishable by a minimum fine of $3,000 with the maximum of $15,000, or by imprisonment of up to 15 days, or both. Each day that violation continues would be a separate offense. The fines for a second violation within 18 months or conviction for a third and subsequent violation within 5 years of a conviction, topping at a $30,000 fine per violation per day. I have lived in the town of Riverhead for over 25 years and have not heard to date of any short-term illegal renters going to jail. Has there ever been a conviction that has led to a jail time, attorney?
On transient rentals?
Yes.
Not to my knowledge.
Do you think that you still should incorporate that?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at just Airbnb within the town of Riverhead, there are 54, this I checked yesterday, illegal renters looking to rent for 5 days or less. The current code prohibits rentals for less than 29 days. Now, I was going to ask you, Supervisor, I guess you are aware of Southold Town and Southampton Town of the short-term rental code enforcement policy of 14 days?
Correct?
Okay, but that's not what we're going to...
That's not what we're talking about tonight.
We're
We're
not gonna-
talking about tools for code enforcement to go out and issue summonses and get these people into court
Okay,
with very steep fines.
okay. Well, that should be because within the 54 short-term illegal rentals available currently in the town of Riverhead, the total came to approximately $119,000 per week.
Mhm.
Times 52 weeks, that comes to over $6 million per year. And this doesn't take into account Verbo, Home to Go, and the other similar businesses. Since the board is considering a change in the penalties for violation of the 29-day minimum short-term rental, now you said how it's going to consider how it will enforce the code and penalize future offenders. We only have one code enforcement officer.
That's not true.
It's no.
Well, I called code enforcement, and I spoke with the secretary, and she said there's only one. They had two, they left, they have one.
All right, so.
That's not true.
Okay, so I'll clarify that. We have, currently, we have Richard Downs, the senior town investigator, Nicole Buckner, the town investigator, Ivan Soto is a Spanish-speaking ordinance inspector, and Hernan Ruales is a Spanish-speaking code enforcement officer in line to be promoted to ordinance inspector. We do have two vacancies. We have one vacancy from our newer code enforcement officer who took a job in Islip about a week and a half ago. So we'll need to backfill that. We've budgeted for that to be an ordinance inspector as of January 1 next year. And then we currently have posted two part-time code enforcement officer positions, and their function will generally be doing rental permit inspections and likely investigating transient rentals.
And that would be, when will they be hiring them?
Well, we currently have that posted. We've received probably at least 12
So
resumes.
it would be
So we
like-
need to do interviews and then
So it'd be a
hire.
total of 3 code enforcement agency actually going out?
So the code enforcement personnel are the the senior town investigator, the town investigator, the two ordinance inspectors, and then we'll have the 2 part-time code enforcement officers. And on top of, in addition to that, all of our code enforcement officers are on standby. So if something happens over the weekend and they need to be called out, maybe they need to be called out to investigate a transient rental or some other illegal housing, they're on standby for that. And once the part-timers are hired, they will have weekend hours and PM hours.
Okay, so if I was to call to say that I knew of a transient rental illegal, a home that was renting illegally, and I call the code enforcement department, how long would it take for them to send somebody to this particular resident, or how does that go about?
Well, that would, I mean, it would depend on available staff, but they would take the information, they would take your name, they would take the property address that you're referencing, they would put it into our property maintenance system, and it would generate a CC, Central Complaint Number. That complaint number would then be assigned by our senior town investigator to whoever's up on the rotation to take a new case. And when they are next available, they would investigate that complaint.
So that at that point, with all that going on, these people could be out of there by then.
Well, and that's part of the problem that we've been having, and that's
Right.
what these changes are designed to help us with.
Okay. So the thing is that what I don't understand is that why can't you just go through like these Airbnbs and you see them, that they are, I mean, like they said, they have the house there, they have all the information there, why can't you just go through the Airbnb and see that these people are illegally renting, go through these owners, in lieu of why do you have to get the tenant, the illegal renters, why do you have to get them involved? They don't know that they're renting to an illegal home.
Right, and so that's also been part of the problem in the past is generally you would need to get some kind of statement from them, and then in order to properly prosecute the case, you'd really need to have them available to testify in court. So while this will, one of the bases for the presumption that this creates is finding those transient rentals available on an online platform. In terms of building a case that will, that we can sustain in a criminal prosecution, I would recommend to the code enforcement officers that they go to the location and see if they can gather further evidence. So when you're looking through these sites, obviously you can see dates that are booked out. So if they see a weekend that's booked out in the next 2 weeks or something, maybe they say, hey, I want to go out at 5 p.m. on Saturday, such and such date. Is that okay? And, I would run it up through the chief of staff, and then if approved, they would go out and they would do overtime.
Right, no, because a lot of the people that I know that were doing this, they were doing it on the weekend because there was nobody available to stop them. And my question is too, is that when you go there and somebody gets penalized, fined, how long after the first time that they get penalized will they go back there again to penalize them again? Is there a record? Do they keep a record, or how does that work?
We don't have, I don't think we have a set protocol for that. If we were concerned that someone was going to continue transient rental violating, say we've revoked their rental permit or something, we would probably sort of tag that one for reinvestigation or some kind of monitoring.
Okay, thank you. No, I'm also very much asking about it because in my neighborhood, unfortunately, I had a home that was built for the reason of short-term rental. They don't live there. They just bring in transients. We're in a development that we have a lot of seniors. They're very concerned about strangers going in and out. They've been putting their lights on at night. These people have been told on more than one occasion what the policy is in our community. We don't like it. It falls on deaf ears. And finally, they got one count of transient rental and one count of renting without a permit, but they continue to do it. And I have been trying to call and have this stopped since 2023. And anytime I call the office, I would hear, we don't have the help. We don't have anybody to come out and look. We don't have the help. We don't have the help. And that's why I'm standing here to say, you need the help before you can do any of these reinforcements.
Ma'am?
I can always
just
use-
state something with regard to that? That's what these rebuttable presumptions are to help. They are to assist the court. This will give the court additional evidence without the code enforcement officers having to jump through 5 hoops. What Mr. Howard is referring to is when you have an individual that rents, let's say they're from South Carolina and they want to come here for the summer, right? You can't order them to come back to New York. These presumptions will make it a lot easier to prosecute these cases in criminal court without all of that additional evidence for the code enforcements to gather. So that's what these steps are helping to alleviate, the need for the code enforcement officer to gather so much more evidence, which is virtually impossible. We want these particular presumptions to help make it easier to prosecute those cases.
Well, you know what, all I have to say is thank you for allowing me the time to speak on this subject. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Ma'am,
you, ma'am.
could you just tell me the address that you've been calling about? Can you tell me the address that you've been
I
calling
can
about?
tell you,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'd love to tell you about it.
Okay.
You did great.
He's very
Great.
proud.
Do we have anybody else who'd like to comment?
Hi, good evening, Amanda Grams, Riverhead, Reeves Park. I want to first, Mr. Everett, it's so nice to see you out and about. You always take the time to say hello and just shoot the breeze with us when you're at a craft fair or a parade. I thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I kind of think that the fines are fantastic. I think that's the way to go. It's a direction. But I'm going to piggyback what this lovely lady just said, because our community in Reeves Park, we do, there's a terrible amount of Airbnb, Verbo, rent my house, because it is a summer house. And there is no heat, so they're not renting in the winter. So the times that they're not there, they want to pick up these transient rentals. You mentioned if someone has a permit, is there a triple fine if the person doesn't have a permit? Because if they have a permit, at least they went through buildings and they have their, fire detector and they have their sockets and you know what I'm saying? But if they don't have a permit and these people are more brazen to rent their place out, I hope that you've had something back in there about that.
We don't, that's not part of the current proposal. Right now, this creates a separate level of penalties for
Yeah.
offenses for the transient rentals as opposed to your more common just rental permit violations.
Yeah, but if, that's if a house went for the permit,
Well,
but
yeah,
if the house didn't go for the permit.
So whether it has a permit or not, it's subject to the same penalties
Okay.
set forth in this new section 23. If there was a permit, we would be revoking the permit.
Yeah, I got you on that.
Right.
Okay.
I
And
appreciate what you just brought up because I really think that that's important and something that we should be looking into.
Yeah.
And I will personally.
because if somebody is doing
I know
it
exactly
with a
what you're
permit,
saying.
you go, okay, they screwed up. But now if they don't even have a permit and that house is not deemed rentable at all, now you don't even know what the people are even in.
Yeah, so we could, I guess, maybe create like some sort of aggravated offense
Love it.
category. Right now, if someone's doing the transient rental without a rental permit, they would get the violation for renting without a permit as your sort of base violation, and then they
Right.
would get the transient rental violation on top of that. If we were able to access the house and determine that there wasn't certificates of occupancy or, appropriate building
Yeah.
permits for certain build-outs in the
Right.
structure, we could
That'd be
ticket
nice.
those as well.
Great.
And I mean, we currently do that when we do have access to the house. But that's typically how one of these investigations would go.
Okay. I applaud you for trying to fill in these code positions. I mean, I know one just came up and they work very hard. I know they do. I've written letters on occasion and I know they've been able to shut down houses and move people out and do the right thing. Wellness checks are great too. They take care of even the aesthetic of the house and how it's been kept. So I truly appreciate the code enforcement going out and do those things too. But because a lot of these violations happen on weekends, some of these code people have got to work weekends so they can catch them. Because neighbor against neighbor really puts a lot of tension in the whole situation and equation here. So I go out there, I take a picture of North Carolina plates on a Saturday, right? Code enforcement doesn't head over there until the next time, but I got the Carolina plate, photo. What does that do? Doesn't do anything until I turn it over to code. So if we had a code enforcement person that worked on the weekends, I think that would be proactive. They'd be able to really catch a lot of these people in action. And my other 2 cents is, can you have a hotline? Can you have a hotline so when we do find these things out, we just call? Because they're going to find it Facebook Marketplace. They're going to go rent my house. Your top 5, they're not going to go on anymore because you've already said if you do go on, you're going to get a $5,000 fine. So water sinks to its lowest level. And I believe that these people will be sneaky enough to go in other venues, like I said, Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, where you have to then set up an account and you have to place a reservation in order to get them in the act.
Yeah, so years ago, I think we did have a hotline. For whatever reason, it was discontinued. We can certainly explore putting that back in. About a year and a half ago, or maybe a little more, we did have code enforcement officers on the weekends. So we had a Saturday person, we had a Sunday person. Our Saturday person took a job in Southampton, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then our Sunday person, as I said earlier, just took a job in Islip. So when we hire the part-time positions, those are currently the way we created the schedule. They will be on a rotation where the weekend is always
Lovely.
going to be covered.
Wonderful, wonderful. And the hotline would help because the person next door, listening to music at 12 o'clock at night as a wedding party is, doing their jig, would be able to call and say, hey, listen, this is going down at such and such a street right now. And if somebody was working, they'd be able to pick up the call. If they weren't, then it would be the next day, and maybe they could catch them at 5 o'clock in the morning with all their license plates.
Right. When we do, as I said before, when we don't have someone scheduled now, we do have a code enforcement officer who's assigned to be on standby. So if a call does come in to the police department, they can be referred to, or even the fire marshals, they can be referred to code, and then the code officer would come out.
So that happens on Saturdays. I don't know if you know that if you call the police department, they're supposed to get code enforcement on the line, and then they transfer the address, and then the person goes out on a Saturday. No, that was the case.
That's been going on.
That's been going on.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say about that is, I would hope that it would be sort of reserved for more how do I say this? Serious
used
code
for
violations.
emergency cases.
But yeah, so, if there's like some litter in someone's front yard or someone's,
So when we have,
Yeah.
we had written their code a few years ago where our fire chiefs are on scene. Sometimes they're around a structure and they see, improper storage of propane tanks, gas
Right.
things, something that's a absolute potential hazard. Certainly not going to put that off until a Monday morning. So the code enforcement officers are on standby 24/7. So before the fire department even leaves the scene, they wait for a code enforcement officer to arrive. That same things, our ambulance companies are watching eyes, our police department
Oh, I
is a
know.
watchful eyes.
They're out in the community.
So they're there when they're responding.
Shorter distance to the accident, absolutely. But when a person rented for a couple for a couple of days, and meanwhile they have 15 of their family members coming in for the wedding, and so now what is me, the next door neighbor, listening to all this, and then they go down to our beach and have at it, and maybe even have a ceremony on our beach. So we call the police, and then they go, hold on a second, let me see if I can get code enforcement. And they take your name and number and everything, and, depends how busy they are and what other things they're doing. I think a hotline would also help a lot of that, because then the person on the weekend could just also check the hotline and see what, or, get a tap and see what would prioritize, the severity of what's going on. What do you think?
Thank you.
Well, hopefully the increase in the fines will create revenue to be able to hire
Hit them in
more
their
code
pocket, right,
enforcement.
babe? Hit them in their pocket.
It's a start.
It's absolutely the best. I love it, and I love the little jail time too, waving above their. That's great too. All right, I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to each of you.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
It's come a long way since the times where we actually had to take an undercover police officer with a town credit card, go and make a transaction with the owner of the B&B to sign up to get that into court, to prove the case in court. That's why these other things that we've talked about tonight are going to alleviate some of the need to do that, and it'll make it a lot easier to prosecute a case. So that's the basis for all of this now. You go through that whole situation with an undercover and a credit card, and it's such a lengthy investigation. And when you mention we have 54 Airbnbs in the town, it makes it hard to get to 54 Airbnbs when you have to do the investigation that way. So this should expedite the process. Do we have anybody else who would like to comment? Hello, Mrs. Hines, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much, Tim Hubbard and the panel for being here tonight. I always see you guys out on the fairs, the Riverhead Country Fair that didn't happen this year, at the the Mosaic Festival, which is always a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you for giving me this time. Just circling back to a person wanted to do a phone call, hotmail, you might want to still instead do like a website page where the information can be entered into the portal, and then that way it captures it in the back end, and you can do a summary of where it's coming from. It gives you better detailed time, data sequence, versus a Hotmail, somebody has to go back and look at all the numbers, just as a suggestion for that.
We do have.
We have that.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
that
that
on
might
the
be
code
easier to
enforcement
provide that
page.
link.
You can you can file a complaint on the code enforcement page.
And that way you have a better tracking system for where the complaints are coming from, the time, the date, and the frequency of the location. And I say all this to say is that I understand that the meeting today is about the penalties being played upon the violators. And we have to definitely honor the law that we have in place. We need to have enforcement to do that. And budget constraints have done that for Riverhead for a long time. We've been able to have code enforcement on, then off. And right now, as many of us know as homeowners, we're piercing the tax veil right now because we need more money to cover the rising cost of insurance. We know property taxes are also going up. And I wanted to put it in everyone's mind how we can find a medium when it comes to short-term rentals. And I'm not talking about weekends. I'm talking about 12 days or 14 days. What happened to me is that I have a rental in Connecticut. It's 29 days or longer. I rent to traveling nurses. And they come to Yale University to stay there for 3 months to do an internship. But in the course of the time, what has happened is that I found people that needed to have surgery and needed a place for the family to come for 2 weeks for that surgery. I also found students that only needed 3 weeks to merge Yale closing for holidays to be able to do a internship from another university and be able to have like a partnership, almost like a doubling of services. I also know that tourism remains one of Suffolk County's strongest economic drivers. $4.6 billion in Suffolk County last year was spent just on tourism. $1.1 billion was in lodging. And we generated $310 million in tax revenue. Folks, our property taxes, our insurance taxes keep going up. That is not going to change this year or next year. But where can we find a middle ground? Is maybe a 14-day be a better middle ground? Where if a person coming to Peconic Bay to have orthopedic surgery, like my husband is having orthopedic surgery, I love my family, but I don't want them in my house. You know what I mean? I don't want to mind getting them in a place that they can come and rotate with me and visit with me. You know, so we want to also generate revenue, not just from fees and penalties. We don't want to be that person to come down, but hearing you speak about the grievances that you've had is very uncomfortable to live next to a person that continues to violate the law and you don't have peace of mind. So those are very true concerns that we have. But we have to find a middle ground. We got to think about the fact that we have the lavender fields. We have splish splash. Inflation is going up. Families are living paycheck to paycheck. They're not traveling on cruises to Disney World. Have you seen the price of going to Disney? It's astronomical. I mean, it was so expensive to go for a family of 4. But we want families to love what we have here in Riverhead. And a family of 4, a family of 6, having breakfast at home, being able to still go out for drinks, going to our vineyards, going to Splish Splash, is a balance. But how do we get there? We cannot just think about axing it at 29 days. What I've learned when I did this little review, thank you for ChatGPT, so I must say, these numbers show the direct connection between visitor accommodation. Neighboring towns demonstrate that regulation, not elimination. So I agree with the regulation. I agree with the fees, having somebody on the weekends to be responsive to our needs, because I feel that if the homeowners felt that they were being heard and that they were being addressed, they would be more flexible to being flexible with the 29 days. You understand what I'm saying? If they felt that somebody was violating and that person had a fee that go along with it, they could go to jail because they did a 3-day and they did a party and we pulled the rental permit. If they felt that they were being heard in that matter, they would be more open and accommodating to be more flexible in a 14-day stay like Southampton just enacted. Southampton Village has adopted a 2-week minimum, and East Hampton maintains a rental registry and clear enforcement pathways. I don't know if you realize, but the Strawberry Festival brings everybody from Florida. They bring the whole team from Florida to manage the carnival and most of the events in the Strawberry Festival. That's Riverhead Township. So where are they going to go? How is that going to be?
Sorry, isn't that Mattatuck?
That's
Mattatuck, sorry.
So that's South Holden.
Sorry,
okay.
South Holden. So I misspoke there.
That's okay.
But as you can see, people still come into our region for the events that we have, for the fairs that we have. People who come to do the street fairs come as far away as upstate New York and Connecticut. And what are they going to do? Sleep in their car, which is not very hygienic. You understand what I mean? So I do think that we need the enforcement. And we need to feel heard when we're called about a violation. And once we feel comfortable, we need to revisit this again and see we allow a 14-day because Peconic Bay is increasing. That hospital has one of the best doctors now. And if somebody's going to come here for orthopedic surgery, they're going to need less than a month to be able to say, because guess what? That's not covered by medical coverage. You know, that rehabilitation, part of it is covered, but not your stay. It's get complicated. And we already know medical coverage is going up. My medical coverage went up already. So we have to be balanced. First, we need to be feel heard. So I'm sorry for what you experienced or anybody else experienced in short-term rentals. We need to reconsider the amount of length of time that we have, maybe 14 days, and looking at that as a way to work with Peconic Bay Hospital, to work with certain fairs and families, and eliminate those that are violating the law. Because they shouldn't they shouldn't have the permission to have the benefit of generating income if they're violating the law. And second of all, let's pay our fair taxes. If somebody has Airbnb and short-term rental, it is another way for Riverhead to generate income. And we need to generate income to stop piercing the property tax, to manage our insurance, guys, is going up, and we're in a fixed income. And so as property taxes go up, we need other forms of revenue that can offset that. And maybe this can be a source of revenue that can offset some of our property taxes if it's done intelligently. And that's all I have to say. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Hines.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Mahan. I'm a resident of Riverhead. I agree with the lady that it seems quite often that people that are retired on fixed income can use this as a way to supplement their income. When first came out rentals, everybody joined back. A lot of people joined it, and a lot of people abused it. And some people made business out of it. But some people only supplemented their income a week or two a year. A week or two a year is enough to pay half your taxes. Doesn't have to be a business. The 2-week would be very good for people who are looking to supplement their income. Because the taxes have gone up, everything has gone up, but the retirement payments have not gone up and have not kept pace. Electricity, when you see the trucks, there's 5 trucks where there should be 1. What are they doing? They're overcharging the consumer, the city, and everybody. That's what people are doing. I understand that the hotel has a very strong lobby, and this lobby has a lot of power in the board of Riverhead. They are building a hotel now. I believe they're not going to pay any property tax for years. A new building is going to come up. There's a demolition going in.
They're getting the money for the demolition. They are not going to pay any taxes for a year. Are they going to pay property taxes there? No. They're not going to pay property
I
taxes.
don't think that's been determined yet. They have to go before the IDA.
Does Target, Walmart, do they pay property taxes? They get
Certainly
abatements
do.
for years.
They certainly do.
All these people, they change their location every so many years to get a new deal on taxes.
That's incorrect, sir. All those
The
places
taxes-
you mentioned pay taxes.
I don't want to get involved in politics, but I have a desire sometimes, because I have a dream that you people would fight for me as you fight for the corporations.
Okay, I
I
think that we're
feel-
getting a little off course here.
I'm not getting off course, because what's happening is there's a very strong lobby anti-rental, and that strongest part of that lobby and the finance of that lobby comes from the hotel. I had a business in the city before I retired. I know the people, and I know what they do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll just say, living in Wading River, I've never been lobbied by any hotel on short-term rentals. As a resident in Wading River, I have legitimate concerns about the quality of life in my community, and I don't want weekend parties going on down the street from me, one after another, and bringing cases of beer and food and leaving litter at my beach and destroying my beach. And then if that's one family on Friday and then another one comes in and rents Saturday and somebody else's Sunday, that's the quality of life. That's what I stand for. I've made that clear along. Nobody's ever lobbied me about that. I'm not going to be supportive of daily rentals in there, changing a quality of life in the community that we live in. Doesn't matter whether it be 2 days, 3 days, weekend. You want to rent it for a weekend, then pay the 29 days and book out the 29 days, stay a weekend and go home and let it be vacant for the next 3 weeks.
29 days is oppressive.
We can't hear you,
All right,
sir,
we're
'cause you're
not,
not
we
at the
don't go back
microphone.
and forth from the audience, sir.
Go ahead.
There was no hearing, and nobody backed up behind people's back. You give a privilege to them that you don't give to us.
Okay, well, that's not true. Sir, go ahead.
How are you
Dan
this evening?
Dan Sackwitz, Wading River. I wasn't going to start with this, but let me circle back to the last two discussions. I support the 29 days. It is a quality of life, and when you're living on the beach and you have people coming every 2 weeks, if someone's a month, we've joined barbecues with neighbors who have come there for a rental of 29 days. You get to know people in 29 days. When you have constant turnover, you don't get to know people, and it's just a whole different circumstance. People aren't as courteous. Certainly the weekend bachelorette and bachelor parties have to go. We've been fighting this battle for seven or 8 years now, and I do support the 29 days because it is different when you're a homeowner and you have constant turnover in the houses, either on one side or both sides across the street. And it's nice to know your neighbors. I understand we have to have some rental accommodations, and I strongly support the 29 days. That gives me the quality of life to live in my house and know the people who are next door to me. Even a month, you get to know people. 2 weeks, it's just too short. And I understand there's arguments on the other side, but I'm the homeowner. We pay a lot of taxes. I said we get a lot of enjoyment out of our house, and I want to be protected on our quality of life.
You would agree Creek Road was not what it was 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
And this legislation that's being put forth allows us to start making enforcements down there.
I wanted
bring
to
up and
I
protect
wanted
the
to
quality of
follow
life.
up on something Eric said, because we have sent over the last several years to your office, actually, to you, copies of some of the printouts of houses with the reviews, where, as you said, they had a great 3-day party, and thanks to the homeowner who was so, what a great rental it was. I believe you said that can be used now.
Yes.
Just the fact if there were 2 or 3 reviews commenting the fact that we've had a great party for 2 days, and
I mean, ideally, there'd be, 6 months or, 6 months plus of reviews, a couple per month
Backing
or
that
something, yeah.
Right.
That's, because when we've started civil cases in the past, I have used those as exhibits, when we're seeking a preliminary injunction or something, and I found that to be effective. Yes, the point is, the answer is yes, we can use that now.
in the 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of activity on this, and my understanding is that the fire department went in, and some houses, there were a lot of code violations with illegal walls, and a lot of the homeowners had to undergo significant costs to take those walls down and make the houses conform to code.
Where was this?
On Creek Road, there were some
Oh, okay.
houses,
Yeah.
I think. But outside of those few circumstances, I'm not aware of any significant code enforcement that was effective. And again, for many of the reasons that we're here tonight, to understand that we're changing the code, so your job becomes easier. Is it possible that code enforcement could issue a monthly, quarterly, semi-annual report on how many complaints, how many cases there are, how many fines were issued, so that we as homeowners can understand that some action is not only being taken, but it's being effective or it's not being taken? Because we have no visibility now outside of seeing the renters. And it would be very helpful to get some kind of report back on a regular basis. We can come to one of these meetings and hear a report on the effect.
Code enforcement comes in once a month and gives us a complete report at our work sessions on Thursday, which are televised, and they list all the numbers of everything that they do. And included in that is rentals, illegal rentals, and everything else. So that's already being done.
Once a month, he does come in and give us that information.
During the work session, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
that
you can go on our website, and all the videos are recorded there if you want to, see a historic.
I have, but I didn't realize that code enforcement also would.
Yeah, you have to look up work sessions.
Yeah, they generate a monthly report that breaks down the type of complaints they've gotten, the type of violations that they've investigated, the number of tickets that they've issued.
But is it very general? Could code enforcement just have their own section where they would say, okay, we've had, how many complaints and how many actions and how many fines and how many cases are ongoing? And can that be a robust report so we can really get a feel for what's going on?
Well, we try to combine it with the justice court report. So, code enforcement does the code enforcement thing, and then justice court is where we prosecute the town code violations. And we do a monthly justice court report too. And the deputy town attorney who handles that, Victoria Saru, she breaks down all the different types of violations that she's, successfully prosecuted and the fines that have been imposed.
Would it be more concise than just in terms of this one area seems to be a major concern, so we don't have to listen to, six different.
I can certainly ask them to, break that out.
If they could, just one section on code enforcement, all comprehensive in terms of what's going on.
Okay.
Maybe, this way we don't have to tune into the whole thing and grab bits and pieces from different sections of the presentation.
Okay. I mean, they come in here, they sit down, and it's a different section, right? They call up our senior town investigator, he comes up, he has a report prepared, he articulates the report to the town board, then, they'll call for the justice court report, deputy town attorney will come up, she'll go over the report with them. I mean, it's already broken down, so I'm not sure how much more you want it broken down.
Well, just pull it into one section of code, because now you're saying we have to listen to different presentations to glean how many complaints there were, or how many fines were issued, or how many court cases are going on. It sounds like what you're saying, we have to listen to different speakers present their segment of their report. Could we just have one concise section on code enforcement in terms of the rentals? So they can go through 10 different parameters. How many complaints there were, how many cases are ongoing, how many fines are levied, how many fines are complete,
I would rather take that time and have code enforcement out there on the job doing the job than taking the time to do that.
They give us the general numbers. In the breakdowns, we have all the general numbers, so we have an idea how many cases there were. And then it's followed up, like Eric said, with the justice court report, which shows then the number of cases that came in and what categories they were in.
And keep in mind, the reason why we don't drill down into each individual one is because if they're in court, we can't comment on it. So, but you'll see how many violations are out there, and it's significant.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you.
On this issue.
Have a good night. I just want to remind us that this isn't a meeting about the number of days for rentals. It's just about the actual code changes that are going to be to help our code enforcement enforce these code violations better. A meeting for the number of days, I imagine, will be sometime in the future when that's looked at.
Good evening, Astrid Lehman, Baiting Hollow. Thanks for having the meeting. On that note, I guess I'll just get right to the point. There were several articles published, I guess, about golf dwellings at Friars Head and Baiting Hollow Golf Course. And they were rental units, golf units. Are those short-term rentals? Are they less than 29 days?
I'd have to bring the code back up and look at it. I don't know what they were
Well,
for.
does the town attorney know?
I don't think they were
We haven't-
29-day rentals, no.
We just
They
had
were
a
more like,
presentation.
Yeah, it was a discussion.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay,
I-
so
I don't even know.
If they were less than 29 days, based on what we're discussing here, then they would not be legal.
It would fall more on the lines of a hotel style development, so.
So
they're not-
is a hotel then, is it a hotel or are they golf cottages at 1,200 square foot per unit?
Nothing ever really moved forward with that. It was an open discussion to say,
Okay,
is
well-
this something that we should look into?
Well,
Something
it's
that
my
the residents
understanding
would
that
want
they
with
have
it. Now-
cottages up there right now that are being rented on the weekends.
Oh,
Is that the case?
Friars Head.
Friars Head House projects, yes.
Because you can't pick the winners and the losers. I mean, people here, you heard both sides of this issue. There are people here that have very good reasons for wanting to do a short-term rental, seem very responsible. I am a short-term rental owner in Vermont. I know what the deal for Airbnb is. I think that some people don't understand how this whole platform works. A little more information about what a short-term rental could mean to the town, regardless of the number of days. It could be significant income, as the woman indicated, okay?
But back to the supervisor's
Yes.
point, that this is not the
Okay,
topic of
just-
what this public hearing is
But
about.
clearly, there's a two sides to this issue. And it always comes back to the granular level of what does Riverhead want to be, okay? Hearing people's complaints about issues in the community for weekend stays, quality of life, those are all things that can be addressed through proper enforcement and also consideration of permitting and criteria. Okay, so I really want to know, though, if there is a short-term rental of Friars Head, because like I said, it would not be fair to start dangling criminal charges over private homeowners who rent their houses out and not have anything addressed at those places, if they're doing it. Okay.
thank you, Astrid. We'll take somebody online. We have 2 people waiting online.
You're up. Okay, can you see me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I guess my camera, you can't see the camera. Oh,
Who's it?
okay, I'm going to turn my camera on. Thank you. My name is Bob Klein, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. I'm on the West Coast, otherwise I'd be there in person. And I just want to commend the town of Riverhead for implementing these additional steps for stronger regulations on short-term daily rentals, the town of Riverhead. As was mentioned, I'm a resident of Overlook Drive in Aquabog, and I thought I'd give a little information of what it's like to live in a neighborhood that has a daily rental. You might have heard about Victorville. And this was a case where one neighbor was advertising for 45 people in his home, renting out 16 rooms. He hosted weddings, corporate retreats, and bachelorette parties. He served food and alcohol to large groups. It vastly increased the traffic in our area. Cars were parked on both sides of the street, and we couldn't get emergency vehicles through. We had strangers going through the neighborhood. We had noise from parties going to 3 in the morning. And trash 8 times what a normal resident would put out. And once the complaint was filed, and we really appreciate what the town of Riverhead did, but the legal system took 16 months from the time the complaint was filed to try to get a stipulation signed by the homeowner. All the residents, 13 of us, went to that owner and said, would you please stop this? And we appreciate that the town of Riverhead stepped in. So I personally don't want other citizens of the town of Riverhead to go through what we did. So I really appreciate the strategy that you put forward to increase the penalties to these offenders, stop the advertising on Airbnb, rescind the rental permits, And it's in a very efficient way to enforce the regulations. I think it'll really cut down the time. It'll cut down the costs of the town of Riverhead. So, I'm just applauding what you all are doing, and I hope you adopt this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Klein refers to one of the cases I spoke about earlier where we had to send another undercover in, and that lengthened that process for sure. And hopefully this will expedite things much quicker for us, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have one more online?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, hi, my name is Michael Jones. I've been a resident Riverhead for 10 years. So I do rent my property. I rent it monthly. I do have to say, a little surprised to hear the extreme measures being taken against folks that rent homes. We pay, property taxes. We're citizens of the community. We do it to supplement income sometimes. Sometimes we do it to vacation, and we're not there. Sometimes, as what the one gentleman said, sometimes it's for people that need additional income. And so, can you see me?
No.
Your ceiling looks pretty good.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not presentable at the moment, but I just wanted to point out that I think it's a little egregious what the town is doing here in terms of the enforcement. A little extreme. There's been times when Airbnb changes the way they do their calendaring or changes the way they do the way they allow you to post things for rent. And when that happens, if someone misses it, I don't think they should be extremely fined or possibly have jail time just because they accidentally change the setting, or VRBO changes the setting, or Airbnb changes the setting on their own. So there's that issue. And then there's also the fact that, some folks also use this as a means to find out if there's anyone interested in renting for 30 days. And so when, this takes away that ability to find folks that are interested in 30 days. If they sometimes are searching for a shorter period, but then when you explain to them there's a 30-day minimum, they end up renting for 30 days. So there's that aspect. And I think, you mentioned that this is not a discussion about the length of time, but I don't think you can have those conversations separately. I think they kind of go hand in hand. There's obviously concerns about the weekenders, but I do think the lady that proposed the 14-day rental has a very good point. There's people that can afford the 14-day rental. They're going to be a lot more respectful. I don't know if 14 days versus 30 days gives the gentleman that says, has time to introduce himself and meet the people. I don't know if 14 days is enough, or if 30 days is the minimum amount of time to meet someone and get acquainted with them. But, I think it should be taken into consideration, be consistent with other townships in the area. And I think it goes hand in hand with what the fines that you're implementing, in the sense that, you can't have one conversation without having the entire conversation. So that's my point on it. Appreciate you taking the time to hear it.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Do we have anybody else who'd like to come up to the microphone and comment? Do we have anybody else online? Okay, I'm going to close this public hearing, but it will be kept open for written comment until November 28th. It's be kept open for 10 days till November 28th. All right, we're moving on to the next step, and that will be comments on resolutions. So now it will be a 3-minute comment on any resolution that's on tonight's calendar.
Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Town Board, Honorable Town Supervisor. My name is Mark Krushelewski, You have seen me several times here at this podium and have met with me in a session that was not public. I'm here to discuss what defines qualified and eligible. I mean, really, what defines it? The Jazz Loft reports just $286,000 in liquid assets and $850,000 in equity. Yet the project requires multi-million-dollar renovation and at least $1 million in life safety upgrades before opening to the public. They only have $256,000, and they are looking at creating an endowment around this. Does that sound like a stable business plan to you? Not to me. Other bidders have approached the town board with feasible plans that required no county, state, or town money. Right now, we're looking at county grants totaling $375,000, $250,000 already allocated for the roof, and an additional $125,000 under consideration. Those are public monies. That's our money for a business model that relies on being a nonprofit and grants. Taxpayers deserve to understand why a bid so dependent on public subsidy was elevated over self-funded projects of actually real business projects, not handouts. To restore confidence in this process, I respectfully request the board publish the complete financial documentation used to deem the Jazz Loft qualified and eligible. For me, that as a taxpayer, I want to understand, how do you evaluate somebody that's qualified? Because in my book, they are absolutely not qualified as a buyer. Number two, I don't think they're qualified to run an operation like this. And also, I would like to see audited statements, liquidity schedules, and binding capital commitments. This way we know they're real. It isn't that they're going to... Why are we so late in the process with the Jazz Loft? They didn't have the money. They were out there trying to find donors. And that's going to be the continuing operating method that they have. I would also like to have every public dollar itemized that's already committed or contemplated for the Vale Levit, with intended uses and timelines. And require the Jazz Loft to secure and disclose enforceable financing, such as completion bonds, escrowed renovation funds, or irrevocable donor pledges covering purchase, all the life safety upgrades, and at least 12 months of operating reserve. And in closing, I think taxpayer funding is for the good of the many. Childcare, food insecurity, low-income housing, not for the good of an elite few. Thank you for your time.
I'd like to respond to those remarks that you've just made. I find disagreement with many of them. You stated that this project was going to require millions of dollars. It's not
Yes.
true. At the qualified and eligible hearing, Mr. Manuel came and approached the mic and talked about the number of projects that he will be able to do that will not require anywhere near the amount that you're talking about. Second of all, this is a registered historical landmark from 1888. You cannot build millions of dollars into this and change it the way your proposals. And I counted at least 3 times you came, whether it was an executive session or whether it was here at a microphone. And I'd like to say, sir, I take real umbrage with your last remark about the fact that this is taking so long in the process. It took so long in the process because you kept coming back, whether it was executive session or whether it was work sessions with different proposals, one after another. Sometimes you were saying you were going to be a not-for-profit. Sometimes you were a profit. Sometimes you were with excuse me, sir. Sometimes you were with Mr. Ray Castanova. Sometimes you were not. Sometimes you were with another individual from Live Nation. You kept bringing forth different alternatives. That's what slowed up this process. You say it was delayed because he couldn't find donors? That's not true at all. It was delayed because you kept coming back and were granted an audience to keep coming back. And in fact, he missed grant opportunities, not being able to get in there because this board kept listening to different versions of the operation you want to do, which is not viable. You didn't even have an architect who could certify that any of the projects you want to do at this location could even be accomplished. And most importantly, to say that this is a business that doesn't know what it's doing, it's 10 years in operation already, fully functioning, huge audiences all the time. To say that they don't know what they're doing is really disingenuous. And I'm sorry, but I have to call you out on those remarks.
Okay, and I'd like to respond to that.
Please do.
We came in a number of times, and we had drawings, plans, etc.
No, you had sketches. You did not have an architect, you did not have plans, and you even stated that in the executive session. Be honest.
I'm being honest. We provided 10 times more than the Jazz Loft did. And I do have somebody that also I know would like to speak on this, but what we are going to find out, and we will see, that this will become basically a public taxpayer-funded project going in the future. And it wasn't us that was delaying it. I guess we needed to wait till the Jazz Loft got a $250,000 grant and to actually get that $256,000 bank account.
The Jazz Loft has an endowment from Stony Brook University. The Jazz Loft has the backing of major philanthropists in this town, Ms. Emily Corey, Mr. Brian Stark, people with a real commitment to helping this town, to helping create a viable enterprise down in our downtown community to help our taxpayers with the revenue that would be created by the commercial ventures that this will help. The hotels, the restaurants, all of that will be helped by this ongoing business, which is a great success already. Not a maybe, not someday, as your proposals suggested, but an actual performing group.
My businesses today, I have 2 venues. They're sold out. 1,100 tickets sold at Irving Plaza, 985 tickets at Warsaw. I know what I'm talking about. There will be no real economic development with proposed 1 show a month that's going to bring in 150 people. The restaurants and the hotels are not going to see any real pop or benefit. I think that's a pipe dream. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. One more caller?
Hello?
Thomas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. You hear me good?
Yes, we can. State your name and where you're from.
My name is Thomas Glennon. I'm located in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. My mother and sister live in East Mauritius. My uncle lives at Riverhead. I'm out in the area quite often. Hearing the last few minutes of what was spoken about, I'm a little befuddled to be here and to see where we're at with the project with the Velvet Theater. You know, we were never given a proper RFP to meet certain criterias to submit in. However, we did have a registered architect in New York State and other states review the photos and the plans of the space. He did a full analysis of it. My experience is I have 15 years in the construction management, real estate development industry. The last 7 years prior, but my last job at Live Nation, I did 9 projects totaling 140 million. I'm very familiar with the building code. I went out there, I inspected the site. Our budget was a pretty solid budget that, you know, there is some serious issues at that building. So first of all, there's a sprinkler system that needs to be installed to reopen. I read an article, to digress a little bit, I read an article that the pro forma for the business is 150 tickets sold for one show a month. They can make $89,000 a year, which that math doesn't make any sense. And so it's quite perplexing to me that we weren't given a full opportunity to show these financials. And I want to know if they have actually had an architect of record, an engineer of record, go into that place, put together, a set of plans and put it out to bid to the street, to the contractors, and got a hard price to know that, to reopen, to meet the building code, that they've got the right amount of money set aside for it. Because I know it's going to take at least $500,000 to $1 million to put in a new sprinkler system in the building, to put in an ADA compliant elevator, to put a mechanical system in to make it code compliant. Right now, the current capacity is only 74 people in the theater because there's only one legal means of egress or code compliant, egress coming out of the theater, right? So I'm assuming that in their proposal, they've captured all this stuff and they've got this has been really vetted like that. Can someone tell me that when the proposal that was given to you guys from them that covers all this stuff? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is the proposal from the Jazz Loft, have they done a thorough due diligence of the property? And
I'll
have
answer
they?
your question. The answer is no.
I'll answer the question. The answer is yes. They have an engineer who specializes in historical restorations, unlike your individuals, who has years and years of experience at this, and they did an entire plan. And they have done that in this case. And that was presented at the qualified and eligible hearing. So this is something that has been done.
Yeah.
Mr. Snodgrass
So
is his name. Mr. Snodgrass is his name, and he has recognized Joel Snodgrass throughout the state with regard to historical landmark preservation. And the project, according to him and Mr. Manuel, is $300,000, not millions of dollars.
So he's an engineer of what? He's a structural engineer or a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer? Or what type of engineer is he?
This is open for comments, not questions.
Yeah, but I'm just to
We want to hear your comments on what you're trying to say.
So my comments are to reopen the space. I'm telling you what it costs, and I've had an architect of record who knows the building code, who knows code requirements, do his assessment, and his assessment is what I presented to you guys. Not an engineer can't do that assessment. An architect has to do that assessment. An engineer is specialized in one particular trade. An architect is the one who signs off on everything for the building to reopen. And so an architect of record needs to provide all the detailed scope to make the place code compliant. That was never done by the Jazz Loft. I have had it done by a licensed architect, Nathan Minette, Wake Development. You could look him up. I can provide that information for you guys. We came and saw you guys at the end of May, and that was it. We were going to come back, and then we were told not to come back. We weren't given any further notification. If I knew we were going to have 6 months to sit around and do nothing, I could have put together a full set of plans and went out to bid to the street and show you. And I could have kept the project minimized to just keep the building as is and just get it back up and running. But we weren't even given that opportunity. So it's like you guys kind of working in silos over there. So I'm just kind of confused how this whole process happened. So that's my comment on it. And I think, you get what you pay for.
Thank you very much.
So I'm just going to clarify that, consistent with the CDA's adopted rules and general municipal law, we held the qualified and eligible hearing on October 16th as required by law. At that time, the Jazz Loft made a presentation. The evidence in the presentation, including financial material, was all submitted at that time. This is all laid out in the resolution that is in the packet today, resolution number 2025-939. It sort of painstakingly lays out the entire process. And I will note that because this is urban renewal area property, the town board is not required to seek an RFP or put out an RFP. The process is designed to be more flexible so that the town board can identify a qualified and eligible sponsor that will, in their assessment, have the best chance of redeveloping distressed property. There's nothing in this process that has been done incorrectly. The town board has followed the procedure with guidance from my office, and that is what has brought us here today.
Thank you, Counselor. Do we have anybody else who would like to comment on any resolution? Okay, nobody online? Mr. McAuliff?
McAuliff, Rolling Woods, Roanoke Landing. I had not planned to speak to this, but hearing the obvious deep feelings about it, I wanted to support the decision of the board from the qualified and eligible to go forward with the Jazz Loft as the responsible party to make the theater an important, not just cultural center, but a place that community meetings can take place that are not connected to churches or to other more specialized places. But having, we used it during the EPCAL discussion and had a couple of hundred people there, and I hope that also would be its future. But, I'm a little puzzled that the kind of presentations that are being made would have been logically part of the qualified and eligible hearing and not against the particular resolution which comes out of the qualified and eligible. I do in principle think that the request for proposals, both about the town square and about this whole process, I have some hesitation about, but that's the process you're working from, and I think you've done a credible job in finding an entity that will lift up Riverhead's regional role and give that theater space the treatment that it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Nobody online? Okay. Okay, let's move on to the resolutions.
I'm getting there. Okay, resolution number 1, which is 921.
Approves expenditure of trust and agency account funds and community benefit funds to Riverhead Cap 2026 to 2027. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. A resolution is adopted.
Okay.
My computer's being a little wacky here. Resolution 922.
Authorizes the removal of fixed assets. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Who moved that? Did you move that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Didn't show up on my computer here. Okay, resolution is adopted. Resolution number 923.
Ratifies the authorization for the Recreation Superintendent to attend the 2025 NYSRPS Conference. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 924.
Appoints an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted, I think. Resolution number 925.
Appoints an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 926.
Ratifies the appointment of a maintenance mechanic too. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 927.
Appoints traffic control specialist to the police department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 928.
Appoint a town board coordinator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 929.
Setting terms and conditions of employment for Town Board Coordinator Stamenta Polius Boulier. So moved.
What's this? Second.
Didn't we just do that one? It's the same, sitting, okay.
No, it's
Wait a
different.
second, I'm confused.
It's not different.
One appoints.
One
One
appoints.
appoints her, and then you had a set of
Appoints.
terms. So,
And one is the terms.
Oh,
We were
sorry, I
second.
got it. Okay, yes, second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. This computer is going slow. Resolution 930.
Authorizes the promotion of a detective. Congratulations, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes, congratulations, Detective Hogan.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes. Congratulations.
and Hubbard.
Yes, congratulations.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 931.
Ratifies the reclassification of a senior office assistant to a principal office assistant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
I'm sorry, I got to catch up here for a second. Hold on.
Can we get him an assistant?
Yeah, it's slow, I'm telling you. Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes, and congratulations, Heather, well deserved and earned.
and Rothwell,
Yes. Congratulations.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 932.
Ratifies the resignation of a code enforcement officer. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Just want to wish Connor well, he was really great while he was here, and thank you, and yes.
and Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 933.
Ratifies the resignation of a water treatment plant operator 2B. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 934.
Ratifies authorization for James K. Telleton of Integra Healthcare and Senior Housing to conduct an appraisal of Wellbridge Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
I was just there last week. It is an amazing facility. I'm very happy it's here in our town. So moved.
Kern?
Yes, sorry.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 935.
Awards a bid for removal of household hazardous waste. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 936.
Authorizes Goodman Marks Associates, Inc. to conduct an appraisal in connection with tax grievance litigation entitled United Riverhead Terminal, Inc. versus the Board of Assessors et al. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 937.
Authorizes Appraisal Economics to conduct an appraisal in connection with tax grievance litigation entitled United Riverhead Terminal, Inc. 5. The Board of Assessors et al. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 938.
Approves extension of license agreement with the United States Department of Interior Fish and Wildlife Service, access for high-fi water level logging equipment at Wading River boat ramp. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 939.
A resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Riverhead designating the Jazloff, Inc. as a qualified and eligible sponsor for the purchase and redevelopment of town-owned property known as the Vale Levitt Music Hall and described as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-128.00-6.00-080.00, located at 18 Peconic Avenue, Riverhead, New York, 11901. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Before I vote, I just want to say a couple of things. One is I agree with what was said earlier by one gentleman. There's no talk about a sound engineer. There's no talk about sound equipment after I reviewed their plan. And I agree with the no ADA compliant elevator. There's no architectural, anything on the interior renovation, the bathrooms, et cetera, which I know, I've looked at those. They're in desperate need, and there's nothing financial there. There's no electrical engineer's report. There's no painting cost. There's no sound system cost. There's no theater manager cost. And I don't see this, I think they're great at jazz. In terms of running a performing arts center, which is going to benefit the town. And for everybody to be clear, yes, it's a town building. The taxpayers own that building. And and number one. Number two, in order for it to be successful, I think it needs to be a true performing arts center so they can benefit the businesses downtown and visitors to Riverhead. With that, I vote no.
Rothwell.
I would say that I agree that there seems to be some financial concerns about how they move forward, but in the final hours, they have philanthropists in town that have validated the work that they were doing and intend to stand by them. And I think with that, it has the potential to be a really great project. And those people have invested themselves in other projects within our towns that have become very successful. So I think with the proper guidance and backing of others, the Jazz Loft could be successful. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
I agree with what Councilman Rothwell just said. The people that are backing this project know what they're doing, and they would not have stood up in recognition of this project if they didn't truly believe that themselves. And I think it's going to be a great addition to the downtown of Riverhead, and I vote yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 940.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for the Lions Club of Riverhead Christmas Parade and Extravaganza. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 941.
Designates alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at the Christmas Parade and Extravaganza Festival and authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with designated alcohol vendors and Lions Club of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 942.
Drink to that.
The publication and posting of a notice to amend the Community Development Block Grant CDBG budget for program years 2024 and 2025. And if anybody reads this, they'll see this is money that was allocated one place in the town and is now going to the Jazz Loft. So I'll move it.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
No.
no to the public hearing. Warthwell,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
resolution is adopted. Resolution 943.
Adopt a local law to override the tax levy limit established by and set forth in Article 2, Section 3C of the General Municipal Law. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
No. I'm sorry, yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 944.
Adopts Town of Riverhead 2026 annual budget. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Hesitantly, yes.
Rothwell,
Just going to say, my answer is that I am voting yes, but I do want to say that we put a lot of thought into this process. I do think that, there is an additional tax increase to it, but the police chief has stood before us in work sessions, and he has stated that the crime rate is down. Our police presence is up. We've increased our police force to 100 officers. It does come with a price, but we are a better town. We are a safer town. And so no one wants to see tax increases. Nobody wants to see this go up. But it does pay in terms of a quality of life. Vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number 945.
Pays bills.
Second.
So moved.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. That concludes the resolutions for this meeting.
Okay, at this point in time in the meeting, we're going to open comments from the public on any matter. Comments from the public on any matter.
Good evening, Scott Hartman, Riverhead resident, currently the president of the Highlands at Reeves Homeowners Association. I was here on August 19th and gave the board a pretty lengthy timeline of what we've been dealing with for the past 9 years. An update on that, September 17th, we appeared at a court-ordered settlement agreement between the sponsors, the builders, Riverhead Reeves and Beechwood, and all their subcontractors. We were able to negotiate a settlement agreement that is dependent upon the town approving that agreement. The agreement was drawn up by our attorneys, Evan Gitter, and it was submitted to the deputy town attorney on October 15th. And we've had, I'll exaggerate a little, hundreds of emails that have gone back and forth, phone calls, and the latest, as of this morning around 9 o'clock, is that is now going before the town planning board for discussion in executive session. We negotiated this settlement basically to take care of deficiencies that we've experienced for the past 9+ years. The town has relinquished, not you folks that are sitting in front of us, but prior boards have relinquished a $2.4 million, I believe, bond back to the sponsor without these deficiencies being corrected. There's a performance bond currently held by the town of $843,000. We're very frustrated at the point that we came to ask for help. We negotiated the settlement, and now it seems like the wheels are spinning and we're not getting anywhere with the settlement. So, Mr. Howard, I don't know if you could answer what the process is going to be after the town planning board meets with it, but we're spending countless and unnecessary homeowners' dollars in legal fees trying to get this thing settled. We would love more, nothing more, than for the town to call in the performance bond of the $843,000, hire somebody to come in and fix the deficiencies, and if it goes over that amount, then you guys go after the sponsor. But I don't think you're going to want to do that. We've been in this litigation since 2022 with the sponsor. We've finally gotten to a point where they're admitting that there are deficiencies and they're willing to put up funds to help us correct those deficiencies. And the bottom line is our attorney is looking for clarification as to what requirements the town is going to put on the HOA to fix the deficiencies, when to fix the deficiencies, if there are any requirements being put on the HOA. We understand that the town is not going to release the bond to the sponsor unless all parties are in agreement. So we just like some kind of clarification on what the requirements are. We understood that we would get the settlement money, the bond would be released, and there would be no restrictions in terms of timelines or a guideline of what needed to be fixed and when. So that's what we're looking for, clarification. And this has gone back and forth between the deputy town attorney. I'm not sure if you were involved with it, Mr. Howard, or spoke to Mr. Gitter on it.
You're done. Okay. So first, I'm going to note that it's my understanding that you're here against the advice of your counsel. Number two, I'm going to say that Ms. Hurley has been working on this diligently, and she's exchanged multiple emails with your attorney where she has been very clear in the language that we would be requiring. The next step for this is for us to discuss this with the planning board in an executive session on Thursday, because it is the planning board that has to offer an approval on the settlement agreement and the terms thereof in order to make a recommendation for final release of the bond. This board here doesn't have any discretion over the final disposition of the subdivision.
I had discussions with our attorney, and basically we're paying the freight. We're paying the bills for him to get this thing settled. And he has not received correspondence on a regular basis from Ms. Hurley. He's had countless phone calls.
I'm just going to stop you there because there's many correspondence, emails, back and forth all last week.
Well, again, I don't want to debate it, but I've been told otherwise. I've seen the correspondence. And the other thing is, if the town was so interested in getting this thing corrected, why did the town wait until, I believe it was September 25th, before someone came out and did another inspection? I mean, 9.5 years, there was no concern from the town as to what was going on in our community. And now there's concern. Now there's an inspection that basically reviewed what was pointed out in 2017 on the engineer's report, stating that these were the deficiencies. It doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. We'd like a timeline. We'd like this moved along, and we'd like clarification. And again, it's not only Mr. Gitter who's looking at it. It's two other attorneys in his firm have looked at it, and they're not getting a clear picture. That's all we're asking for, a clear picture of what we need to do.
Okay. I mean, in my assessment, I thought that it has been clear, but I can certainly talk to Ms. Hurley again.
Okay. Well, maybe you should talk to Mr. Gitter personally instead of having an intermediary speak to him.
Well, this was assigned to her, and I'm perfectly confident in her ability to see this to the end.
Okay.
So I will speak to her about the status of this project.
Okay. And my understanding is that she will be in contact with Mr. Gitter on Friday morning after the town planning board meets.
I believe she did confirm that today.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments on any matter?
John McAuliff, Roanoke Landing, and this is what I had been planning on saying. First, there are two letters that show up in the list because of my misunderstanding of the deadline, and one of them is now a bit dated because it's responding to the work session. But I think the content is there and people might want to read it. Also, Ms. Civiletti and also Kathy McGraw responded also to that work session, and I'll let it stand by itself. The point I wanted to make is the second letter. That was letter number 1 in the list. Number 3 is a follow-up to the election and a suggestion that the board might consider vote in the election as a reason to rethink the town square. I'm not optimistic that will happen, but I think it's certainly possible that if the vote stands as it is now, that part of what happened in people's reaction was to the closing of Crafted and the intended demolition of the building and the planning of the hotel and condo. I assume, Mr. Howard, there still isn't a date on the demolition. I doubt that you will return that around, but in the second letter, I inserted the picture from the pattern book as to what the original plan was for the town square, and using the 2-story building as the eastern end side of it. And I think it's worth looking at and comparing that with the way that the 5-story hotel condo will affect the town square. If you go ahead with the demolition, this is an even more radical suggestion that you should leave the whole space green, that you should accomplish what was the intended language of the planning of the resolution 399 in August 2020, the creation of a public gathering space with pedestrian connectivity and open vistas from Main Street to the Peconic River. Leaving that as an open green space provides a lawn leading up to the amphitheater and the possibility of people having picnics for public concerts and so on. But at any rate, that's in the second letter, and I appreciate this opportunity to say it specifically. Finally, I will be traveling the next 2 board meetings. I'm going back to Peru, where I was a Peace Corps volunteer. And so I don't know, they haven't announced finally the results, but if the results are as the preliminary results, I want to say to the supervisor that while we've had disagreements, both in style and substance, I have great respect for your commitment to Riverhead and to the future of Riverhead, and appreciate the discussions we've had over the times of your tenure. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Anybody else comments on any matter?
Good evening. I'm Donald Fisher. I'm the president of the Railroad Museum of Long Island at 416 Griffin Avenue. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to Supervisor Hubbard and the town board this evening. On Friday the 13th, August 1926, on a very stormy, great thunderstorm of an afternoon, the Long Island Railroad, Shelter Island Express, was traveling swiftly from Manorville east into Calverton. 100 years ago, next August, that train hit the switch that went to the siding for the Golden's Pickle Works. The pickle factory is on Railroad Avenue in Calverton. Sadly, the switch moved and the second locomotive was thrown off the main line propelling itself backward into the factory, pulling along with it the first car, a parlor car, first-class car, and sadly demolished the pickle factory, and 6 souls were lost, 2 employees, an engineer and a fireman on the locomotive, and 4 passengers in the passenger car. Another 15, 17 riders on that train were injured. First responders from Riverhead, Southampton, surrounding area, and several hundred servicemen from Camp Upton responded and worked through the night into the morning to get the affected people out of the wreck. It was a horrific tragedy at the time for the railroad, and it changed the face of Calverton, and it really was tragic, but a part of our history here in the town. For some time, we have thought, as did Ron Zeal, a prolific historian and writer for the Long Island Railroad, that something should be at Calverton at the site as a memorial, so that the people who were lost are not forgotten, and that all of our citizens traveling our byways would notice this as a place of an important piece of our history. We're very fortunate at the Railroad Museum to have experience working with the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. And they present to communities, to nonprofits, historic roadside markers. And they have a specific program which is open for a small window right now for transportation-related markers. We've sent a letter of intent to them. They've approved it. We're in the phase now to ask permission to place a marker at Calverton at the intersection of River Road and Railroad Avenue. And if the board is desirous of this and you approve of this idea, we need a letter of authorization to place it on the town property alongside the road, so that people who drive by, and specifically as you come up River Road, it would be at that intersection, you would see it. And that's approximately the location of the switch that took that train off to the side into the Pickleworks factory. This would be a somber celebration, a solemn celebration, if you would, to memorialize it. And if, with your approval, and if we can pull a timing together with Pomeroy Foundation, we would host a memorial this coming August, on the 13th. It's Thursday in the afternoon, and hopefully we won't have any thunderstorms if we can pull this together, where we would unveil the historic marker. So with that, I have sent you letters with some pictures of proposed marker. If you have any thoughts on the language, the text that we have on that marker, the placement of the marker, if you have any questions at all, I'm here this evening for your questions, and thank you for having me.
I just want you to know that this is something that I received a certified letter from. I just actually, I'm not sure which day it was signed for, but I actually personally received it yesterday. And I think it's fantastic, and it's something that I would like to have put onto, I guess, our work session to bring you in and have this discussion, because I think it's very important for the history of our town. You know, that was a horrible day and a truly fascinating part of our history here in Calverton. So I will be in touch with you. I don't know if anybody has any.
Yeah, Tom, I'm in full support.
Thank you for your support.
I think we all are. I don't know if you even have to come in for work session to do it, because he
That would
just
be great.
presented his situation, if we're all in agreement with it.
Yeah, I would like to have a letter of support drafted
Yeah.
for the Pomeroy Foundation.
And we're familiar with the Pomeroy Foundation. They're a great organization.
Now, this is, and I really apologize, their window, our window of opportunity to put the grant in place is this coming Friday.
Okay.
Um,
Well, let's see what we can do tomorrow.
If
Can
you
we do
can,
that?
I don't want to stress anybody. I have spoken with Georgette Case, and if we were not
I
able.
saw she was CC'd on that letter.
Yes, yes, I spoke with her. So, I mean, I don't want to pressure you guys. If you could get a letter for me on Friday, we can move forward. If not, we'll wait for another window and we just do it later. I see a thumbs up from
Yeah, well,
the attorney.
Yeah.
We'll have it by the
Yeah.
end of the day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you, and you've got my emails. You could PDF it over to me, and then I'll send the paperwork up to Syracuse. Thank you very much, and I will be speaking with you and police department and so forth. We'll put in a request for a public assembly, and everyone will be entertained and invited to come.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
be there.
Thank you very
Don.
much.
Thank
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Any other comments on any matter? We have one online? Okay. Thomas, you're on?
Yep. I just wanted to bring to the board's attention that reading through the resolution on your guys' site, subsection B of the CDA rules, was to say business plans and economic analysis of the projects and past compliance with municipal laws, rules, and regulations. So the applicant sponsor, who is saying what scope of work is required for the venue to reopen, Stewart Preservation Services is a contractor. So he's a general contractor who specializes in historical restorations. He is not a qualified person to speak about code compliance, whether it be MEP, structural, or architectural. So I would just point that out to you guys that you should get an architect to confirm for you guys what it takes to reopen that space, not a contractor, because he's not qualified to speak on those terms.
Okay, thank you.
That's one. Yep.
Anybody else online? No? Okay. Not seeing anybody in the audience. We will, I'll make a motion to close the town board meeting and go to the CDA meeting. Can I have a motion to close the town board meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Town board meeting is closed, and I'll turn it over to Dawn Thomas to open up the CDA meeting.
Good evening, members of the board. We have no resolutions on this evening. We would just need to take open comments from the public on any CDA matter. So if there are any, we can do that now.
You're going to vote to open it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were voting to open. Okay.
Oh, hang on a second. By the way, congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Twins.
congratulations.
Dawn is the grandmother of baby twin girls, beautiful baby
Whoa.
twin girls, I might add, born yesterday. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, very exciting news. Thank you so much. So we're gonna, that's why I'm a little bit off, so. So we need to open the meeting, so we need a motion and a second to do that.
So moved.
Second.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Okay, CDA meeting is open, and the only matter on the agenda is comments from the public on any CDA matter.
Okay, comments from the public on any CDA matter? Anybody online, Justin? No?
Okay,
Not seeing anybody here?
no takers. We can go ahead and close the meeting, and we need a motion and a second to do
So
so.
moved.
Seconded.
Okay, Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Okay, the meeting is closed, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Okay, everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming down to the meeting. Happy Thanksgiving
Yes.
to everybody. Enjoy, be safe, and enjoy your family.
Happy Thanksgiving.